This podcast is being brought to you by Tarnit Senior College Media Arts class. Support for Galvanized comes from Save the Kids. Save the Kids is a charity/foundation where you can help save children's lives so that they can live in peace and have a second shot in life. This can also benefit your child by giving them a viewpoint of children in danger, where they could have been placed at first, but whose parents were valuable enough to provide them with a better existence. If you'd like to learn more about this, go to savethechildren.com/galvanized or phone 154-027-298 to schedule an appointment. From This American Life in WBEZ, Michigan, it's Galvanized, one story told week by week. I'm Garrison Haynes. I've been horribly despicable towards the case of the 5 victims who were put to death over the last few decades. I had to search out witnesses who were concerned in the matter and might provide any form of corroboration for the desired case, as well as family who may have been aware of the strange intakes of the fatalities that occurred. Or if you want to be technical about it, apparently I do, why were these innocent people approached at about 4:23 p.m. on a Wednesday afternoon in 1999 by an unexpected trigger leading by death? This case has an unnerving and total guts of fulfillment, which I mean the culprit, a male who was exceptionally honest for the killing of the 5. Before I explain why I've been doing this is mainly a matter of allocating time. The problems and reasoning involved in this case can be incredibly intimidating to us. Similar to asking someone, "Hello, can you tell me why I didn't run track today?" He said, "Honestly, I wasn't bothered, and I shattered my foot last night." In that case, this refers to the case's criminal, an 18-year-old teenager named Frank Washington, who was dubbed the Frank Criminal 5. Washington had all the details of the case and went right into explaining why he was put in this circumstance and why he did what he did. I've never met a criminal who is entirely truthful and has the ability to cause harm and to have it interpreted in a way that makes sense to me. It is unquestionably undeniable that I have ever been in this circumstance. As is customary, detectives and investigators would continue their search for the suspect. But in this case, Frank Washington came to us to divulge every bit of corroboration, forecasts, and instincts he had. So we dialed Frank's number in order to schedule the interview with him. Hi there, Frank.
Yes, it's me. Hi there.
So Frank, you discarded all technicalities and you created a case. Why did you do it?
You know, it wasn't particularly pleasant when I was a kid. My parents would constantly come at me, slam me, abuse me, in whatever manner they could in order to gain the life.
Furthermore, we discussed his childhood, which was not particularly pleasant or enjoyable, as it may have been for other families. However, it was primarily terrifying in his experience throughout his zone in life. He was bright, readable, and at his best, social. What surprised me the most is that he was completely honest about what he did and went right into information direction. And he wasn't found guilty. Instead, he pleaded not guilty and stated that his final act would be to go on a killing spree and serve a life sentence in prison. I then proceed to ask him some leading questions about his parents' treatment of him. So you were saying your parents mishandled you?
I suppose you could put it that way, but more exponential.
More rapid, okay. What happened in your head that caused you to declare this is enough and to go off and murder innocent people?
I'll cut to the chase. I killed him to conquer a feeling of payback from my mistreatment towards my parents.
So that was the motive of why it happened?
Yes. I was so eager and had no other choice but to do it. I was thinking of killing myself by suicide purposes or to even get medical treatment such as life support. But rather than that, it just wasn't enough.
Why do you think the other suggestions wouldn't be adequate to keep you stable?
Looking at everything from my point of view, I just felt like that killing was the only option I had. And I'm proud of the fact that I killed 5 innocent individuals. And
Frank was proud of it and never regretted it, as he stated.
Something about it.
The audio was a bit unclear there. I apologize. Before I go any further, I'd like to mention today's advertising. Crime Stoppers. Crime Stoppers is a program that allows anyone to anonymously report criminal conduct. It's usually run by non-profit organizations or the police, and it's separate from the emergency phone system, or other normal methods of contacting the cops. This permits a person to assist the authorities in solving crimes without being personally involved in the inquiry. Crime Stoppers was created to allow the general public to engage without fear of retaliation and to make it easier for witnesses to anonymously provide information. If you notice anything suspicious, phone Crime Stoppers immediately at 1-800-333-000. So who were the 5 people Frank Washington had targeted? Victim 1, DeAndre Smith. Victim 2, James DeBarris. Victim 3, Maverick Wilson. Victim 4, Evelyn Brown. Last but not least, Victim 5, Riley McCarter. The tragedy took place near Frank's park in the neighborhood. The park is known as State Fort Yard. DeAndre Smith was the first to be approached. James DeBarris stood by his side. Both victims were shot one by one, putting an end to their lives. Frank was placed inside a public restroom where he tampered with the wall by drilling a hole in it. The bathroom featured open windows on top, which was an ideal sight for Frank. Frank stands on a stool and takes aim at the third target, Maverick Wilson, who was playing football in the open yard. He succeeds on his first attempt and then moves to a different location, the shrubs. It was located directly in front of a major street and included spotlights. He is after Evelyn Brown and Riley McCarter, 2 female. After that, Frank claims that the bushes are large enough for him to avoid being caught, so he exits the area with ease and celebrates his accomplishment. If you didn't hear that last line, I stated that the shrubs were large enough for him to avoid being caught. Back to what we previously mentioned about the interview with Frank. Frank comes to visit us, and here we start the interview. So Frank Washington, why did you aim for these people? Quite frankly, it was just there, and I had in my perspective that the randomized victims I've selected were just occupied, and yeah, it was just unexpected. Okay, yes, but do you regret killing them? No, not at all. I did what I did. In conclusion, I was proud of it in the end. At the very least, you are forthright about the entire case, in your role as a suspect, and you've been sentenced to life in prison, with a minimum penalty of 30 years, but you haven't been found guilty. I'm aware of that, and like I said, that was my last application for me to be in this world. Do you consider not having to cause this situation and could have done something else, or something, no? I was not investing in our situations, but to deploy this as a more severe case, but as a criminal, I take things honestly and tranquil simultaneously. I find this case extremely fascinating and unplotted at the same time. Nothing too sinister comes to my mind, but feels undignified at a certain point, knowing that Frank has an honest side upon him. And he also mentioned tranquility, the state of remaining calm, and he develops it so well in general flow. What can we possibly do now? The Frank Criminal 5 is highly frank, but I am still questioning about the events to commit to the actual event, and when it was set about 4:23 p.m. on a Wednesday afternoon, 1999. Do you remember anything from that day? Of course I do. I was in my room, setting out the plan of what I was about to do. Moreover, I proceeded to escalate and went to State Fort Yard. I drove there actually, and the parking lot was next to the shrubs and bushes. After I committed the scene, I could eventually make my way back to the vehicle and flee. Yeah. I wouldn't say it's not adding up, but I would like to clarify that Frank was sincerely approved of this case and facing the life sentence he desired. And I don't think he'll be out anytime soon, only if there was an alibi on site for one of them at least. At the time of the scene, they were all alone. Who could ever come across an honest victim like Frank? I guess a possibility would be towards his moniker. But he didn't really stay much in depth with it, and pursued more discipline-free, but didn't obey for a personal motive. Now that we wrapped up the episode, consider why he was so forthright. I'm Garrison Haynes. Till next time on Galvanised.